Good morning, everybody. My name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, February 14th, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. We got the Google Super Bowl update, unconfirmed volatility to talk about, Reddit blaming Google search for its user growth issues, Google search getting a little bit faster, and Google's review bug being fixed, and a lot more. And I'd like to thank our sponsor, SimilarWeb. SimilarWeb is the all-in-one strategic SEO software. Get clarity of the SEO landscape through competitive analysis, keyword research, rank tracking, SERP insights, and more. With industry-leading traffic and keyword data based on real user journeys, SimilarWeb gives SEOs the whole picture so they can strategize smartly and drive sustainable business growth. Check them out at similarweb.com, and thank you for sponsoring. Okay, so first up, Google had another search ranking volatility thing around the weekend. It actually started before the Super Bowl, around Saturday and then Sunday and then through Monday. It seemed to calm down a little bit since then, but they're definitely, I'm calling it the Super Bowl Google update. Again, Google did not confirm any of this, so it is interesting. That being said, there was a lot of SEO chatter over the weekend. Some of that was related to people just not being on the computer and watching the Super Bowl, and some of that has to do with ranking volatility and so forth. So the tools themselves show a little bit of a spike around that time, and then there's an initial significant amount of chatter around there. So if you did see a lot of ranking volatility around then, you were definitely not alone. This is kind of funny on some level. So Reddit announced their earnings, and they did not hit the expected user growth that, I guess, Wall Street set out for them to hit, as well as their own expectations. And they kind of blamed, not fully blamed, but kind of blamed that Google search ranking algorithms. They said there was a change with the Google search algorithm, and they weather it. They're doing fine. They bounce back, but that's some of the reason why they didn't hit those numbers. Their Reddit shares overnight, that night of earnings, fell more than 15%. Didn't fall that much after the real earning or after the day earnings, but their daily global users only grew 39%, only 39%. They were expecting more than that. They were expecting a lot more. And they said Google search algorithm change caused some of the volatility with user growth in the fourth quarter, but Reddit's search-related traffic has recovered since then, which they have. Again, we noticed their traffic dip, and then they went back up, and they're doing fine. They said they're doing fine. So it is interesting to see this, and it's funny to see like Reddit, who's getting so much preferential treatment from Google right now, and for the past several months, like about a year now, complaining or blaming Google search for their user growth. I mean, Google could turn them off like that, and what's going to happen to their stock price? What's going to happen to their company? I don't know. Google search also is about 60 milliseconds faster. Barry Pollard and his teammate went ahead and posted on the Google Chrome developer blog saying they're using speculative rules API to prefetch the first two results. And what happens is when you click on those first two results, it loads almost instantaneously from Google because of that prefetching. Now, there's a lot of technical details in that blog post, but if you did notice that if you're using Chrome and clicking on the first two results are much faster, that's why. Okay, so I didn't get this on the video last week, but on Friday morning, Google's local reviews seemed to start disappearing. It happened to be the review count. I have a separate video on this alone, but again, it started on Friday morning, and then Google confirmed the issue, saying it's a review count issue where they're not counting the reviews. The reviews are still there, but they're not counting, and they're working on a fix. They confirmed that on Monday after a crazy weekend of people going nuts about this review issue, and then starting like Monday night, Tuesday, into Tuesday, we started to notice that the review count has been fixed or being fixed, and it seems to be fully fixed right now. So now if you are missing reviews, that's a separate issue, but the review count bug seems to be fully fixed as of this week. So hopefully you guys didn't panic too much about that, but it was a global issue. It seemed to be affecting everybody for the most part. Even though Google said it's affected some users, it seemed to be affecting everybody. There is this report that some people, including Zach Notes, is noticing that Google image search did some type of update in, I guess, late January, where it started to de-rank or lower the rankings of AI-generated images. Now, I'm not seeing this myself, and I use a lot of AI images for my stories, but Zach Knows posted two graphs at two different websites that show this drop. And there also people in the response in LinkedIn actually saying that they also noticed this as well. So if you did notice that your AI images aren't ranking as well in January, in Google image search, you're definitely not alone, but I'm not seeing that this is really that widespread. I did ask Google for a comment. I have not heard back, so I'm not sure what's going on with that. Google also announced Google Publisher Center changes, specifically saying that in March, Google News will fully transition to the automatically generated publication pages. Now, this is going to be a bunch of things. One is you will no longer be able to submit them manually in Google Publisher Center. They'll be created automatically, and publication pages will be created by publishers manually will no longer show up in Google News. Publisher Center will discontinue the customized feature for publication pages in Google News. Google News titles will no longer appear in Google Publisher Center. They'll pick from their site name. Publishers are no longer able to use the Publisher Center to customize their logo and their site name. Again, it's going to be pulled from their fave icon and their title, their site name, and so forth. So there's a lot of changes here. The Google Revenue Center will remain in Google Publisher Center, but a lot of changes there. If you are in Google News, you should definitely read that post because a lot of changes are happening over there. Google Merchant Center listings now support a new membership loyalty pricing tag in that thing. So they have like active pricing, strikeout pricing, and now membership loyalty pricing. Now, if you do offer like a loyalty thing like Costco membership or stuff like that, you have loyalty pricing where it's special pricing for members, you can now pass that along as a beta. It's actually a beta right now to Google in your structured data for Merchant Center listings. So keep that in mind. It's a new feature they just released yesterday. You can learn more about that on the blog. Google Search seems to be showing future dates in the search results. I think this might be somewhat of a bug or maybe a feature where Wix actually, if you did a search for Wix Q4 2024, Google would actually show in 7 days. This was I took this screenshot a couple days ago, but the earnings result from then was actually will be posted in 7 days from now. It's in the future. Although the blog post was titled in the past, it did have date data and markup specifically talking about the future date of the actual earnings release. This is spotted by Glenn also, so nice find there. Again, I think this is more of a bug than a feature because future dates are kind of weird, but maybe Google's testing something. Google's also showing AI organized local events. A few months ago, we actually covered that Google's rolled out AI organized restaurant results. Now Google's showing this for events. So if you search for like events near me or events in certain areas, Google will show like today's events, concerts, theaters, art exhibitions, museums that are open, restaurants, and so forth. So it's much more broadly rolled out where they have these AI organized types of results. Google is testing a filter on the latest post carousels. This is by Brody Clark on SERPs Alert, where if you did a search for Mr. Beast or a bunch of like YouTubers, they would actually have this filter saying recent videos, Instagram, Facebook, X, and a bunch of other filters to say filter these latest posts from this influencer across these types of networks and these types of results. Pretty cool. I kind of like it. It's not fully rolled out. It's being tested. Bing Webmaster Tools has updated its date selector for the performance report to kind of match what Google just released a couple months ago, where it says 7 days, 30 days, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, and so forth. This is spotted by Ryan Siddle, also spotted by Vijay. It also spotted other changes around crawling and indexing in that tool, so definitely take a look at that blog post if you love Big Webmaster Tools. Advertisers have been complaining about the Google local service ads lead quality, saying that the lead quality has been really, really poor over the past few months, and it's not getting better. Darren Shaw noticed this, and he said he spoke to a bunch of other advertisers, and he's noting that this is a trend. Judy Marvin said she'll basically look into it, but if you are noticing that the LSA lead quality has dived a lot in the past month or so, you're definitely not alone. Google Ads customer match lists will now have an expiration date starting in 540 days, basically a year and a half from the expiration date. This was posted by Google, and this is starting April 7th, so you have some time for this, but you have to go ahead and refresh those customer match lists so they do not expire in a year and a half from when you actually upload them. Google Ads also posted a notice about the brand guidelines changes coming up in March 2025. This is spotted by Arpan, who posted this notice. This is an update. Brand guidelines by March. Business names and logos will now be part of your brand guidelines, which lets you control how your brands appear in ads. So keep in mind, you can actually control your brands and logos in there, and that's happening starting in March. Google also will be updating its gambling and games policy for Google Ads starting on April 14th. Google actually posted an example of what the new policy will look like, although that might change. But they said on April 14th, Google will update its gambling and games policy. The update will include revisions to country-specific guidelines and provide more detailed explanations of the different gambling categories. So if you want to take a look at that and you are in the gambling business and you are an expanded gambling business, like you even talk about like sports scores or something like that, you might want to take a look at that because it might affect your Google Ads. Bing is testing dropping the AI labels from its AI answers. This is spotted by Sashin, where he showed like an AI answer, which I think is an AI answer. It might not be, but it looks like an AI answer, and there are no labels on it like you usually see. I'm not sure why Bing's testing this, but they are. Talking about AI answers, Yahoo Search has their own AI answers, and now they're actually, we discussed how a few weeks ago they actually rolled it out, and then they're actually showing these AI answers from either OpenAI or from Copilot from Microsoft. But now they're actually going ahead and showing link sources, which is great. They actually have links to the sources, which is great to see. In any event, thanks so much for listening to the Search Buzz video recap. Again, my name is Barry Schwartz, and this is the search news we covered over at the Search Engine Roundtable at seroundtable.com. Again, thanks to SimilarWeb for sponsoring. Thanks for listening and subscribing. See you guys next week with more search news. Bye-bye.